Okay, here we go. Hello, everyone. All right. Oh, hey, Amanda. Hello, everyone. Okay, I'm just going to go on the chat here and go on to the participants. Perfect. All right. Sorry, I was a little bit late. I was actually out and we got stuck in traffic. There was really raining over here, and there was a 18-wheeler. The cab. We can't explain what happened, but he ended up in the medium. And anyway, it just happened, and the guy was okay, but a lot of rain. So I thought, oh, I'm gonna have to delay it, but then somehow, luckily, we made it on time. So here I am, a little out of breath, but I'll catch up in no time. And I'm just laughing because I'm just like, there's no way I'm going to make this call. And I just said, no, well, let's just make it and see what happens. And here we are. So, how is everyone doing? I was wondering, for those of you who were on the Lionsgate meditation. I did get some emails from people that said, wow, I felt a huge shift the next day. And I was so light, and I continue with that lightness for days. But what I'm noticing is I'm just being more aware of my surroundings, which I'm trying to be more aware. That's what I work on. And it's just been really neat, the energy out there. So if you have any have any profound things that may have happened with that Lionsgate portal, it wasn't just that meditation we did, it was actually the window, and I think it closed on the 12th, or maybe the 13th. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, so that's that big galactic new year. So some people have these like big awakenings, some people have these new ways of thinking. It's really neat how that can come into play. I had a lot to talk about, and I'm just going to collect my thoughts here and drink some water. If anybody has any questions, you can feel free to put one in the box at the moment, because I don't want to get onto a tangent and start talking and lose track of time, because I've been doing that a lot. The one thing that I keep getting these huge reminders is, I keep getting like, don't think like a human. I laugh at that. It's like, okay, but I am human. So how are we not supposed to think like a human when you're a human? But I'm understanding what that means more and more. It's, there's that collective, that 3D collective that we buy into. Like, humans can only do this. Oh, you can't really heal that quickly. If you're looking for a solution for something, you have to work hard for the solution. And really, when you just let go and say, all right, I know, trust, and believe that the universe can delight and surprise you, all of a sudden it delights and surprises you. And I've been doing this a long time, and I still get blown away at some of the things that I get shocked on. Like, wow, I wouldn't have thought that. Because in my humanness, I am human, I would have thought it could happen one, two, three, or four or five ways. And then all of a sudden, a solution that would have never even came into my mind happens. So when you trust, know, and believe that this universe has your back, that you're loved, then miracles just happen. It's like, whoa, I could write a book, but I think if I wrote a book, it would have to go into the fiction, because some of the things that happen are so unbelievable that people, if they read this book, they go, I don't know, I don't think that's possible. And then at the end of the book, you'll say, okay, everything that I said was true. You'll want to read it again, because it's just like, wow, how is this even possible? All right. So the how this is a big one. There's a question here about, how can you be more open to receiving, not just by asking, like how can you do it? There are ways, and asking actually is a big one, because when you're asking, whatever you ask for, you will receive. So asking, then allowing. And I get this because I had a big problem with the receiving. And sometimes I still feel like I do. Like there's sometimes like, is there something there that says I'm not deserving? So a lot of that is breaking the resistance. Now, remember in many of the talks, I say that we have to heal layer by layer by layer by layer. And then that's kind of what my journey was like, layer by layer. In this new energy, and the downloads I'm getting recently is you can ask to go right to a core of an issue and have it just break open. Now, a lot of people, let's say we have an issue I'm not deserving. All right, this is actually a very common one, right? I'm not deserving, I'm not deserving. So this is playing on a record and it's coming from multiple things. There's like we're very multi-dimensional beings. So I can't say where your deserving issues coming from, non-deserving issue, unworthiness, because it's not just this lifetime. It's other lifetimes, it's experiences, it's karmic, it's ancestral wounds, it's past life traumas, it can be seed karma, which means lifetimes from other galaxies. So we're very multidimensional. So here we are saying, I want to break this unworthiness and I want it to happen now. So people get frustrated. Well, you can ask that it gets released faster. What I truly believe, based on my own journey and other people's journey, is we are on our own spiritual journey and there's a timeline with it. And let's just say we're behind. Like, are we ever really behind? I don't want to say we're behind because where we are is perfect and evolving. But some of us feel like I kind of went off track again. I did this and I did that. I feel like I'm behind and I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I believe if you were supposed to be somewhere, you'll have some accelerated healing. And I think that's what happened to me. Sometimes I feel like I spent a lot of time going off track. Then when I surrendered and I said, I'm ready, I obviously don't know what I'm doing. I surrender, I hand over my life to service. All of a sudden it went like fast track, bam, bam, bam. Not fast enough, but bam, bam, bam. I was going really quickly through my lessons, let's say. So how do you fast track? In the end, you cannot fast track any faster than your higher self or your soul is going to allow you, because you are on a journey and your soul's journey is being guided by your soul. All right, so there's no fast tracking based on that, because no matter how much I want something, no matter how much I feel I'm ready, it's really up to my soul's journey. The frustrating thing is, well, if I have free will and I want to move faster, why can't that happen? You're going to move as fast as you need to move. So let's say I want to break through something. I can ask, and I have asked, and you can ask for something called a quantum leap, a quantum shift, a huge shift. Show it to me. When you do that, if it is okay with your timeline, your soul's watching over you, making sure it's safe to do so, you will have a quantum shift. Now, I'm going to give you some fair warning on this, because when you ask for a quantum shift and if you get one, you shift so much spiritually in vibration, you release big chunks of stuff. Your 3D body has to catch up to that shift. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you did beam therapy. I'll use beam therapy because beam therapy is very, very powerful. And let's say I was going every 3 weeks for beam therapy. I'm going for another one. After beam therapy, your 3D body has to shift up, but it does so with relative ease. Then one day you ask for a quantum shift, and miraculously your higher self says, yeah, let's give it to her. So now it's almost like getting, say, 7 beam therapies in one quantum shift. So now I go, boom. Well, my 3D body needs to catch up to 7 sessions of beam therapy. So it needs rest. It'll have flu-like symptoms. and it can be awful. Now, I did ask for quantum shifts along my journey, and I was granted them. But what I found for me, I was stuck in bed for like a week with flu symptoms. I didn't have the flu, but my body was achy and it was just readjusting to that light quotient. Another example would be for someone who's going, there's some people that do the ayahuasca journeys. What happens there is they're doing a quantum shift. They are going into a healing session, which is very dramatic, by the way. You're drinking a conscious plant. I've never done it, and I don't want to do it. I've asked my quantum shifts. They've been very powerful, and I've had a lot of recovery afterwards, and I don't love them. And yet I still ask for another one, and I stopped asking now because I think I'm like feeling leveled out. But so they take this conscious plant, and you're usually doing it somewhere in Peru with spiritual healers that are very wise and um, very attuned to what they're doing. So you're in safe hands. But I've had friends who did this, and I've had and they've done it. And what's happened is when you drink this conscious plant, it goes through your system. It will work with your higher self to release as much negative energy as possible during your session. And the session usually lasts, I think, 3 to 5 days. And people vomit, they have diarrhea, they have high fevers, they hallucinate, they scream, they shout. I know a friend of mine whose husband did it, and she thought, oh my God, he's going to die. And he was very worried about him. And, the spiritual healers don't seem too concerned because this conscious plant will bring you to as close as it can without having you leave the planet. Now there's a recovery involved. So a lot of people who do this and have quite this session will say they'll never do it again. But what they've done is maybe, 13 or 15 sessions of beam therapy, which I would have done over like 2 years. They've just done it over a very small amount of time. So they had their quantum shift there in their way. And a lot of them some go back and try it again a few years later. And some people say, I would never do that again. It was the worst thing in my life. But when you're releasing that dense energy from your field and you're now bringing in all this light, you're going to have that 3D body needs to catch up. So how do you become more receiving? It's getting rid of that resistance. So it is asking. And really, it's just, I'm going to say, in the end, it comes to accepting where you are as perfect and evolving, being tolerant and patient with yourself. I usually say affirmations before a session. May I have the most awesome healing at this time. Whatever's ready to release, I'm ready to release. And the beauty of it is when you're releasing, even a session like this, when you ask, you're going to release all that stuff that you don't need anymore. Whatever you can that's in that layer is going to go boom. And if you ask for some extra stuff, they might pull that out too. What you're not going to be able to release is what you still need to heal. So we've all come in with our own contracts. We've come in with what we need to learn. So no matter how much healings you're doing, how many things you're doing, if you don't learn the lessons, those lessons are not going to heal without you facing them head on. So this is the thing this is a great question, actually. It's just, I am on a rampage now. The trickiest thing with healing is you're doing all this thing, you're doing, we heal in so many ways. We can do meditations, affirmations, eating right, eating healthy, grounding, saying prayers or affirmations, self-love, looking in the mirror, reading, all that stuff, energy work, all that stuff, acupuncture, hypnotism. You're going in all these different ways. And then what's going to happen is this lesson is going to come to you. And this lesson, when it comes to you, it needs to be learned. And in many cases, we don't learn it. What we do is like, okay, whatever, I don't like that. It feels uncomfortable. I'm going to put it back in the background. And then it's going to come up again. And you're going to do the same thing. It's going to come up again. It's going to come up different faces, different places, but the same undertone of the same thing keeps coming up, keeps coming up. Or an uncomfortable feeling comes up when you're talking to someone. Okay, what is this? You have to acknowledge it. You have to pass that lesson. You have to learn that lesson. if you don't learn that lesson, it's never going to go away. And who made, like, why do you have this lesson? Because it was your free will. You wrote a contract before you came here. So if you're going to get mad at anybody, get mad at yourself because that's what you came to learn. So in my case, we all know what was my learning self love, learning that I deserve beautiful things. I did this, I did that, I did that. I did so much healing, so much healing. And I never learned my lesson. I never included myself until more recently when these just they kept coming at me and coming at me. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? The same lesson came at me for 22 years of my life. And I treated it the same way until I realized, okay, obviously I'm doing something wrong because I'm not learning this lesson. Now I'm talking about lessons, it keeps appearing. I'm not learning my lesson. What is my lesson? And I just surrendered to even thinking for a second. I knew what it was. And I was downloaded with what the lesson was and how I had to overcome it. I went through some very uncomfortable situations where I had to stand up for me and make other people, like actually stand up to people that I would have always put before me and say, no, I'm first. I matter. Me first. It was very comfortable, but it's like all of a sudden I got this check mark. Like I did it. 22 years later, I learned that most important lesson that I needed to learn. So it's sometimes you need a third party to understand the lesson. Sometimes if you're just walking through it in your mind and then just say, okay, this is what I'm seeing. Help me make the connection. You might dream about what the connection is. You might have a download on it. You might just have a knowing of what it is. And then say, okay, now this lesson's coming up. I usually do this thing when this lesson comes up, and that's never been right. So let me look at it on what is the right thing that I need to do to pass the lesson. And really, the trick that I put, what was kind of brought to my attention is pretend you're your child. So let's say you have a child, and say if you don't have a child, just someone you love, your sibling or somebody you love or a friend that you love, and you're going to give that friend the advice in a situation. Well, then you're giving that person really great advice. So now you put you in that situation and you're going to give that friend or that sibling or that child that information. And then you take that information and you do it, and you'll notice you're doing the right thing because you're not doing it to yourself, you're doing it to someone you really care about. And why don't I care about myself? Well, that's the unworthiness that runs through a lot of people. So I'm going to give great advice to my clients, to my children, to whatever. But it came to me, I'm tough enough. I can handle the abuse. I'm tough enough. I can handle people treating you in that way. I'm tough enough. I'm going to be so compassionate and hold the light for someone. I'll just let them treat me that way. That's okay because I am a wise being. I can handle it. Or maybe that's my karma. I need to take the crap from other people because of something I must have done wrong. And if it's not that. The lesson most likely is you need to treat yourself like you would treat others. You have to put yourself at the forefront. You need to really show that you have self-love. And when you get that, you'll get that check mark and move on to your next lesson. Doesn't mean all your lessons are gone. Just means, hey, you start now, you're going to get other experiences. And they're going to make you uncomfortable. And they're going to make you say, oh my gosh, I don't want to go through this. Sometimes like I would get stomach aches. Like I actually feel nauseous when I had to actually stand up for myself or do something for myself. It was very uncomfortable, but it gets easier as you break through that resistance. And then once you start to really show that self-love, you're going to go into that receiving mode more and more and more. So it's easy to give love. It's so easy. Oh my gosh, you can give love all day long. And this is what happens in these healing sessions. We're creating this beautiful bubble of love, and it's going out there, it's going out there. Once you create this energy, it's going to be made available to us, to our family, to our friends. And we go big, right? We're giving that beautiful bubble of love to the world. That energy created has to go somewhere. So we're making it available. We can't force people to take it. We want them to take it, but it's up to them. They're going to receive what they can at that time. So now there's this surplus of energy. Where does it go? it comes back to us. Now, if we're in the receiving mode, we're going to get this huge wave of beautiful energy that's going to just, fill us up wherever we can. Now, for some of us, and you might be thinking, oh no, I'm one of those that don't receive that well. You're going to receive what you can handle. Now, what you can say is, hey, I'm ready for a quantum shift. I want to receive more, as much as I can, so I can have this huge shift. And if that's part of your healing journey, and again, your higher self's always in charge, then they're going to allow more in for a shift. The other really thing, I get so much information every day. Sometimes I just want to, I wrote something actually the other day. I'm like, okay, I want to write a blog. Where is it? Actually, it was phenomenal what I wrote. I think it's here actually, but I don't have time to read it. I was reading it, said, wow, this is beautiful. I could write like 20 different posts and get them out there. Or I could write a blog, or I can write an email. And yet it just sits there. There's so much information to be said, because I think, okay, I got to get this out. What's the time? It's like, how do I get it out? So if you just allow this information, this love to come through, you're going to get messages that are so important to you. And the main message we're getting is where you are is perfect and evolving. Be tolerant with your healing process. Be patient with it. Humanity is going through something huge and beautiful at the same time. We are letting go so much. And the one thing that, yes, I am just getting it now again, is we have to let go of the old energy before we can go into the new energy. So something I had was about nightmares. That's right. Somebody had a question about, I'm having nightmares. The nightmares are horrible. They're going through a healing journey, right? And what is that? So if you're starting a healing journey and you're actually starting feeling worse than better, well, your subconscious mind needs to release a lot of that old energy. So old memories are going to come up, whether they're coming up in a nightmare, coming up during the day. Do not ignore them. When this crappy energy comes up to the surface, say, okay, I may not understand where this is coming from. I may remember the feeling of it. I acknowledge it and I release it because it's no longer needed. Say those words, release it, let it go, dissolve it, but honor it and acknowledge it. When those crappy feelings come up and you step them back you push them back again, all you're doing is pushing them back for another day. Why not just face them head on? Nightmare, you wake up in the middle of the night and you're terrified. You wake up and you might remember it. Like some of us, dreams just go by so quickly. You just wake up terrified. You say, wow, that felt very uncomfortable. If there was a lesson there, may I remember it. If not, I acknowledge that feeling. I acknowledge it. It is no longer true. I'm letting it go. So I'm not sure where I put this, but there was an example of somebody's waking up worrying about a child dying. They're just terrified. That's all they think about. Their child dying, their child dying, their child dying. Doesn't mean your child is going to die in this new energy. What that means is you're releasing perhaps a past life where you had a child die in your arms, something very horrific, where you did not recover from that trauma and you're holding it in your system. What's coming up for healing. So when you're having these scary dreams, these uncomfortable dreams, it's the processing of these old energies. So honor it and say, okay, that happened in a lifetime. I'm sure of it. It was very uncomfortable, but I'm letting that go and it is not going to happen in this lifetime. And just let it go. So we have to let go of the old energy, the old memories, the old traumas in order to really move into this new energy. So the healing process is uncomfortable. It's like, oh, it's ongoing. It's exhausting. I'm going to just say all the words that I get from people, just say, I've just had enough. How many more years do I have to go through this? We're all in this together. You focus on your healing. You raise your consciousness. You let go of the baggage. You're going to start getting new experiences. You're going to start believing, knowing, and trusting, receiving. And you're going to get lighter and lighter and lighter. And as you heal, what you're actually doing is healing yourself, but you're also healing the planet. So let's just say I said, okay, I'm not going to work on myself. I'm only going to work on healing Mother Earth. It won't work, because the way we heal Mother Earth is by healing ourselves. Our consciousness then raises up, and then we start to think of innovations, inventions, ways of thinking to treat the planet better. The wisdom comes back. And a lot of us have been in many different lifetimes. And some of those lifetimes, we had a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom, which is starting to percolate up again. So you might just have these amazing ideas. And then sometimes we have too many ideas and we want to write them down. We're all over the place. But sometimes we have these amazing ideas and we're like, oh, I must be tapping into a new energy. Sometimes it is the new energy, but sometimes it's our Akashic records where we're remembering things where we already mastered something and we're bringing that mastery into the forefront to use now. So it's really neat. And if you were to ask, like, where are things coming from? We're so multidimensional. I don't think our human mind can understand it. But the key is something icky comes up, honor it, say, hey, it's coming up. I don't like it, but I'm letting it go. It's no longer needed as new energy. But then if some great idea comes up, thank you for the inspiration. That's so beautiful. I'm going to write it down so I don't forget. Maybe act on it. Maybe you have another inspiration to do something. Sometimes it's all divine timing. I get so many ideas of what I want to do. And then I realize, why isn't it working out? And the message I get is, just because you get an idea today doesn't mean you're putting it in place today. It means we've planted the seed for something to happen later. And now I notice that's actually quite true, because I've had a lot of great ideas, which I've tried, somewhat tried, really dived into, really didn't dive into. And then what I realize is, they're showing me what's coming along. Doesn't mean it's happening today. It's like this step is going to lead into this step, which is going to lead to this step and lead to this step. So it's just honoring yourself, following that next best feeling, letting go of resistance. And sometimes it's also taking that step into the unknown, which is scary. I got it. All right. And doing it without any fear. One more thing before we start, because I've been getting this thing replayed in my brain over and over and over. There's two stories they're showing me, but one of them I'm just going to share because it's a quick one. So here I am, knowing that I need to follow my heart, but it's on the other side of the bridge. And the bridge is now collapsed. So there's a river. I need to get there. I know I need to get there. There's a call in my heart. I'm 100% sure. But I know if I go to that bridge, which is no longer there, I'm going to fall to my death. Now, I'm not saying do anything to fall for your death, but when you are in faith, belief, and knowing, what they've shown me is, Brenda, you need to go to the bridge and just keep going. And so I've been doing it. And sometimes I'm like, why am I doing this? And they just keep showing me the bridge. Just go. What happens is when you hit that bridge, you're about to go, you get redirected by some people. Hey, hey, go this way, go this way. And there was a bridge, a new bridge being built for the last year I didn't know about because it was being covered by trees. So God knew, your higher self knew, but I didn't know. So yeah, I'm following, saying, okay, I'm just going to do it. And then you get directed, and now I'm over the bridge where I need to go. Scary, but I'm trusting. Now, then there's going to be, how do I know I'm trusting the right thing? Say if I'm being guided by the darkness in me to go down the bridge. Well, that's where your discernment and prudence come in. So really connect with yourself. And this is what the healing journey is all about. It's learning to trust yourself, learning what is the call of my heart and what is the interference from the ego or the dark side or whatever you want to call it. So we're really complicated beings, but once you start to really pick apart humanity, the way we think, what the thoughts that come in, the other thoughts that come in, where are my good thoughts coming in, where are my negative thoughts coming in, and you play with it and you start to trust it and learn it. It's a process, and it's your own process. There is no fast tracking. So that was a very long answer, and I don't think it fully answered it, because I don't think I can fully answer that question, because I believe the answer is unique to every one of us. Asking, trusting, learning, patience, compassion, forgiveness, tolerance. It's all part of it. So let's take a deep breath, drink some water, and we'll get into the healing part of this. Now, again, with this healing part, we are going to create some beautiful, powerful energy. The energy of this planet is getting stronger every day. And the neat thing is, another thing that was given to me is the darkness on this planet is no longer controlling the planet. Now it's just lurking out there, right? So it wants to keep the old energy in place. And that's why we see some of the stuff that makes us uncomfortable. But the light on this planet is winning. Although some of us will say, well, I don't see it winning. Open your eyes and look at the beauty of this planet. Yes, there's some temperature changes and weather changes, part of the process. There's a magnetic grid that's changed. Just all the little fluctuations of where we are in the plant in space, or moving in space. And so I was explaining this to someone, then a sim said to me, Brenda, just explain it like this. Earth has a balloon over it, and now it's just getting a new balloon. And with that, there's human consciousness can change. We're evolving, but it does affect our weather systems and things like that. So take a deep breath, because we're actually on a really cool journey. We're all in this together. Some of us are a little more ahead, doesn't make us any better, just because we cleared a little bit more. So we're just trying to hold the light and say, hey, with all this chaos going on, I feel so calm in my heart. I feel so much love for humanity, and I see your struggles, but I can't magically take it away. The work has to be your work, because you can choose not to do the work. You can choose to do the work. And that's the free will, right? This is the beauty of it. And when we came onto this planet, we knew that we would have the free will to choose the ascension process or not. But whether we like it or not, we're going through it. So it's really neat. I could talk for hours about it. I hope that made some sense out there. Okay, we're gonna bring in the love, we're gonna play the music. And you know, even if you didn't conceptually understand that at a mental level, the beauty of this is it's in your subconscious, and it's planting seeds of knowledge, and those seeds of knowledge will percolate as you are ready to accept them. So that's the neat thing. And it's like opening a jar and it's stuck and stuck and stuck. And then boom, it's like, how do I know all this stuff? Why does it feel so good? Yeah, so it's really neat. Okay, so music time. Because if I start talking again, we're gonna be chatting for longer. All right, everyone. I'm gonna share my screen, so I'm sharing just the music. I think we should be quiet today. What do you guys think? I always say that, right? And then I end up talking again. And drink some water. So, if you've been on this call before, there's nothing you need to do. You're just going to be allowing the energy to come through. You're going to go into the receiving mode. How do you do in the receiving mode? What can you do? Just ask, hey, I'm ready to receive the love. I would love a quantum shift if you want one. Just be wary. You know, they're not so bad actually. They're pretty okay. Depends, but it was different. I'm going to send out the love, and I'm going to receive the love. I'm going to heal at a physical level, a mental level, an emotional level, whatever is there. My human mind doesn't understand it, but I'm going to allow for the healing. So you're going to allow deep breaths, allowing this beautiful energy to start moving through your system. Although we're working here as a group, sending information, sending out love, sending out healing energy, we are getting individual healings. You're in your own octahedron of love. These beings of light are here just for you. Everyone has their own team working on them. So sometimes when we're doing these healings, you might feel tension in your body, so you may want to just move around, let things go. Sometimes there's emotions that are coming out. Just let them go. Just let the emotions come through. allowing deep breaths at your own pace. Now, there's some people that are feeling a little anxious because there's something bubbling up, and that's okay. That's just the dense energy that's bubbling up to the surface for release. Just breathe through it. Know that you're completely safe and loved, and everything that happens in these healings are for your highest good, your highest benefit, your healing, your moving forward. If this resonates with you, you can say, I say yes to the ascension process. I say yes to the light. I say yes to my healing. I'm ready to receive. And as you're receiving this beautiful energy, it's doing many things. It's clearing your chakras, cleansing them, your biofield, your auric field, your meridian systems. There's such a beautiful system that we have to allow the processing of energy. We're having everything move with ease and flow. We're asking to release our worries, our anxieties, the heaviness we're feeling, the emotions we're feeling, and we're asking for them to be replaced with God's love and light. You can be laying down or sitting down, eyes closed, eyes open. Preferably, I like them closed, but it's totally up to you, whatever you're comfortable with. And if you're feeling dizzy, I'm actually feeling very dizzy right now, that's completely fine. Just breathe through it. It's not a big deal. You're just, it's just the energy working through you. Some of us will yawn as we're processing. It's completely fine. Some of us might be burping. There might be energy coming through. Just let it go. You have to clear your throat as energy is passing through there. And the beauty of it is everything that's leaving for healing today is not coming back. You're going to be lighter. Your vibration's going to be higher up. You're being replaced with more light quotient. Beautiful. As this beautiful energy is working on you right now, we're going to start asking this energy. It's going to continue working on you throughout this entire session and beyond. We're going to start asking this energy to work on anyone that we might be worried about or concerned about. And when I say worked on them, the energy can't just forcibly work on them. We're going to ask that this beautiful energy be made available to our loved ones. And you can list your loved ones down wherever they are, knowing that this energy will be made available to them, and hopefully, we hope and pray and wish, but it's up to their higher selves for their highest good to take what they need at this time. You don't have to list the issues they're having, just list the person, and they'll know exactly what's needed. We're asking for this beautiful energy to weave through your homes, to lighten up your homes, releasing any dark energy, any dense energy. Maybe there's been some worry, sadness, arguments, whatever it is. We're asking for that energy to leave the home and be replaced by God's love and light. This energy is being made available to anyone in your home. That includes any pets. You might notice if you have a pet, it's just feeling very relaxed at this time. They're very open and generally allow a beautiful healing. Just taking a few minutes now to make those special intentions. And almost feel this weaving in and out, this beautiful energy doing whatever it needs to at this time. Some of us are feeling sensations, waves of heat. Maybe it's a weaving of cold. There's no right or wrong. Whatever you're feeling, whatever you're experiencing is unique to you. And if you're feeling nothing, that is completely okay. There's work being done in your field, regardless whether you feel it or not. The healing on this planet is so powerful at this time that things we once thought could not be healed are healing faster than ever before. And as this healing is continuing on your home, on yourself, on your special intentions, on anyone in your home, including your pets, we're now going to ask this energy to be even amplified even more. It's just amplifying so much because we are going to send it out to this beautiful planet Earth. Every cell of our body comes from Mother Earth. We are so connected. As we heal, she heals. As she heals, we heal. There's this new respect for Mother Earth. It's a respect that's been along through the indigenous people for a long, long time, and their intelligence is now starting to seep into our consciousness. And we start to see the big picture. We are blessed that Mother Earth is taking us on this beautiful ride through the ascension process. Although a little uncomfortable, it's going to reap beautiful rewards. And as this beautiful light, this intelligent wave of light, is now starting to wrap itself around Mother Earth, it's weaving through the oceans and the land, and the forests and the trees and the animals. It is going into the darkest places on Earth and the lightest places on Earth. To the places that need it the most, to the places that may not need it. It's weaving in everywhere. It's just encompassing the entire Earth with this beautiful white light being made available to all the humans, the animals, the plants, the air, the water. Whatever is in need and can take it at this time, will do so. As this is happening, and some of us can feel the energy of dolphins and whales swimming through our systems, As this is happening, we are getting our own personal healing, our planetary healing, the healing of our homes and our families and loved ones. Just breathing in this beautiful energy, just letting out any resistance, reminding yourself to just allow, to the best of your ability, to just be in the space that you're at, to accept where you are in your life right now, to know where you are is perfect and evolving. You are loved, you're magnificent, you're powerful, you're connected. And when you're in this energy, it feels so good because it reminds you of being back home and you know everything in your higher self. You're being connected with your soul. It feels so beautiful as this work is being done. You feel your magnificence, your importance. We're just going to allow the healing to continue. We're also sending out this beautiful energy to the universe, to the multiverses, to all the guides, to all the ETs, to all the beings of light that are helping us with our healing. We're going to send them the love back. We appreciate their assistance even though we may not understand it. We love them dearly even though we may not know who they are. We know who they are at some level, but at the level of humanity, it's hard to remember. We are thankful and grateful. We're replacing any negative thoughts with positive ones. There's healing happening at such deep levels we don't understand. But if you have any emotions coming up, just allow them to rise to the surface and honor them. You don't have to pinpoint where they're coming from. Just let them go. I honor them. I'm letting them go. I'm moving past these old energies, these old experiences, and moving into the new. I say yes to the light. I say yes to the ascension process. I say yes to the love of God. I say yes to my magnificence. I say yes to my healing. I say yes to my clarity. I say yes to peace. master light are weaving through your essence, resolving and healing any issues that are remaining that are ready for release. We send out so much beautiful energy, which will continue. But any surplus that's not being accepted is coming back, bringing this beautiful, huge amount of love and light coming back at you at this time. And it's fueling a beautiful, deep healing that you can handle, that you want, and you're ready to accept. Just accepting instead of saying, how long is it going to take for me to heal? Just go into the receiving mode and say, I'm open for how long it will take. Because every day I'm getting closer and closer to my magnificence. That resistance, that humanness, that duality, slowly being chipped away as we reconnect to who we truly are. Allowing the tolerance and the patience as you learn discernment and prudence, as you start to make the right decisions for you. Letting go of judgment of others and judgment to yourself. Accepting yourself where you are is perfect, beautiful, magnificent. And breathing that into every cell of your body. The ultimate goal of healing is psychological balance. And you'll know when you get there, you'll feel different. There'll be a love for yourself and others like no other. There's a beautiful balance in healing. Letting go of any judgment, of any timelines. I need to be there. Just let that go. Surrender, trust and know where you are is perfect. The next step will come. Follow it with faith and trust and knowing. But again, with discernment and prudence. And if you don't know, sometimes it's confusing as you're learning. Just bounce it off a friend's ear. Sometimes writing it down, what your solution could be, makes it a little clearer. Asking, may I know my next step? May I trust, know, and believe that I can do it. Continue allowing deep breaths. allowing the energy to enter your body through your breathing. They're working on you from all aspects, but breathing in the energy is a beautiful way to have it to every cell. Every cell is getting what it needs at this time. This energy is going to continue working on you for the next few days. Some of you may have some strange dreams. You can ask your guides, hey, work on me while I'm sleeping, but let me sleep. And if they can do that, they will do so. But sometimes we seem to be pulled in. And I always like to think, hey, if you're pulling me in, means I need to be there. So I will look at the healing, the discomfort as a blessing to support the healing that's happening. I needed to be pulled in. My sleep was crappy. Somebody actually said to me the other day, I didn't sleep well after the last session, but when I woke up, I felt fabulous and I didn't even care. It's a beautiful way to look at the healing. Yeah, it's uncomfortable, but I didn't even care. I loved it. It doesn't have to be uncomfortable, but it can for some. We're going to anchor in this energy. We're going to remember the peace that we're feeling because you can hold into it and pull it in and connect to it at any time. This beautiful energy that has been wrapped all around Mother Earth will continue working for days as well. We're going to let the music run for another minute. And then we're going to work with the singing bowl. For anybody who wants to stay on, you're more than welcome. But if you wish just to hang up and stay in this beautiful energy, you're welcome to do so. Okay, as the music's coming to an end, again, I'm going to use a singing bowl for those who wish to stay on. And what the singing bowl does is, as we're working through our stuff, it just kind of moves along the processing a little bit quicker, kind of bring us back from the meditation, grounding us a little bit more. But if you just want to stay in this energy, feel free to just drop off. You're all very welcome. So I'm just going to put on the different setting here and get the bowl going. All right, here we go. always feels so lovely. Okay, there's the bowl. All right, everyone. So the healing, although it has come to an end, it hasn't really ended. You're going to continue receiving that love. Drink lots of water. Allow the process. Um, yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to email me or text me. If you have any questions now, I can stay on for a minute or so. That was a lovely session. Pretty powerful. It calmed me down because I was kind of rushing to get here, so it was beautiful. Now I'm nice and zen. I'm still feeling a bit dizzy from the session myself, so what I'm going to do when I hang up is I will generally get up carefully, make sure you're not dizzy, and just stomp my feet to ground me back to Mother Earth. All right, everyone, we're good? All right, you're very welcome. All right, everyone, you're all very welcome. It was a beautiful session, but it's all of us coming together, which makes it so powerful. And there's always surplus energy that comes back to us, so it's quite nice. That's why we feel so good when we're doing this. All right, everyone, I'm going to end the call. I believe, and I will double check, that the next call is going to be slightly different. It's supposed to be the time we take off, but I'm doing a special call to teach you guys something um, that's pretty powerful. And, I think I think the reason I'm doing it is someone said, don't tell people this. It's too powerful. No one should know. Which makes me think the opposite. Let's tell everyone because, the most important thing is knowledge is power. And if you have tools to make yourself feel better, why not have them and use them? Okay, everyone, I'm going to stop talking before I start up again. Have a good night. I have a bit of a headache, actually. I can see it in my eyes. It's still there. It's actually kind of gone, but now it's like almost like different. It's like a pressure headache from all the energy. But anyway, here we go. Sweet dreams. Sleep well. Drink lots of water, and we'll connect again. The replay will be up as soon as I can get it up. Good night, everyone.